Hello and welcome. You join me, ADG, and here we are on the grid of race 3, which is Dragon Trail International Raceway. And here we go. Well, I won't mess about with a massive intro this time round. So Maguinho put it in first place in the GTR. Diablo's in second in the Supra. Skip up to the cars. GT Delhi did a good job in third. Good qualifying from those guys 2 weeks in a row now. GT Delhi in the AMG. S2 Law in fourth in the GTR, ADG 1, 2, 3 and fifth in the FT1. Sixth is Mr. Dre 70 in the Porsche. Sixpenny Guitar is in seventh in the Porsche as well. Ricky J is in the GTR in eighth. Ninth is Wimpy 82 in the Porsche. I'm just going to clear my throat as well before I get going properly. Don't quite feel like I'm good to go. MRC Gr3 is in 10th in the FT1 as well, bringing up the back of the rear. Only 10 people in this race today, so we'll hit start. Look back from, in fact we're going to jump to Diablo and look back from his car. Oh, what am I doing? Watch Delhi on the right. Look at Delhi go. See S2 Law having a bit of a bad start, getting bogged down, and Mr. Dre coming up to the side of him straight away. So a bit of a mixed start for a few people there, but Delhi just getting such a good start in that AMG so far in the season. But then look into T1, he ends up going a little bit deep, gets it over the curb and on the dirty stuff. And Diablo just gets a chance, the door opens for him and he just gets a chance to drive through into first position. I just about managed to battle away with Maguinho as a dive to the inside to get up into second there behind. So Maguinho's found himself dropping from first into fourth. He knows he's still got the pace because he qualified in first, but not the best start there for Maguinho. GT Delhi just probably got a bit excited that he found himself in first straight away and got that first corner wrong. Outbroke himself a little bit, so drops back into fourth from gaining first place right at the beginning. Good start there, and we'll have a look at the other guys. S2 Law in fifth, quite a good start up front, that's why I stuck with that. Ricky J in sixth, just getting beaten to the outside by Mr. J there, which now takes sixth, and Ricky J is down in seventh. Wimpy 82 right on the back of Ricky in eighth. Close racing on this first lap, as you always expect. So Ricky J just catches the wall through the chicane of death there, ends up ghosting for a second and loses the position of seventh now to Wimpy 82. So Wimpy just keeping it clean through there and making the position up. We've now got Legger on the back of Ricky J. Ricky J had quite a good start off the line, and then unfortunately a couple of little moments here and there, including that wall touch, has dropped him back a bit. Sixpenny Guitar finds himself at the back now in 10th position. So Legger's where he started, and Ricky's back at roughly where he started, I think. Wimpy's made a position, and so's Mr. Dre. So S2 Law pulling away now from that pack behind, headed by Mr. Dre. And we've got GT Delhi still chasing Maguinho. Maguinho in third, Delhi in fourth at the moment. And then we've got ADG 1, 2, 3, me chasing down Diablo in first place. We had a really quite good race, did me and Diablo through this one. It's quite close, lap after lap after lap. So everyone heading towards the chicane of death for the second time on lap 2. Who should we pick to watch through it? We'll watch Mr. Dre this time through it. Seemed to take it quite nicely. Didn't risk too much on the exit. Good work there from Dre. Wimpy 82 is getting challenged by Ricky now in the GTR. Ricky getting some kind of run on that exit, but not managing to get any kind of inside line, and Wimpy just defending. So Ricky just wisely taking the racing line as wide as he can. So on to lap 3 now, everyone goes. Having a good battle, Ricky and Wimpy there for 7th place. As we see, Ricky dives down the inside into T1, nicely done, and picks up 7th off Wimpy there. Wimpy's not letting it go though. Good racing at the beginning here. So it looks like Ricky's got that position now. Went a little bit deep in there, so Wimpy's actually got the run on him on the way out, but there's nowhere to go as they head down here into this fast sweeping left-hander. We'll skip up and see what else is going on. Don't want to miss any action. We've got Munguinho now has dropped into 5th position. Not sure what's happened. Oh no, I do know what's happened actually. Hit the wall on the exit of the chicane of death, so it's not a massive incident, but he did lose a lot of time because of it. And Stu Law, sorry I keep using your real name, S2 Law finds himself making up a position because of that. Got the rear end dancing through there, did Stu. Nicely done through the chicane of death. It looked like you managed to avoid the wall even though you were dancing all over the place. Good work, nicely recovered. Doing a good job in 4th. GT Delhi looks like he's dropped off the back of Diablo a little bit now as we watch me and Diablo side by side. ADG 1, 2, 3. Diablo retaking 1st place as we head into the braking zone for T1. Couldn't quite get it done on the brakes, so just stick it back in 2nd place and follow Diablo through. But we're having a good close race, me and Diablo. We'll stick with this for a lap. I always feel like I shouldn't watch my own racing because it feels like I'm just picking my own stuff to watch, but at the same time, if it's a good little battle going on, it's always good to watch, even if it is me that's doing it. Diablo doing a good job of just keeping that gap pretty much all the way through the lap, and then it was pretty much a battle through the chicane of death every lap. We were pretty even throughout the lap other than that, so we'll go on board with Diablo as he goes through, this time through the chicane of death as we come up to it through these next couple of corners. Such an interesting track, I think, because of that corner. You can have such a good lap and it can all go wrong just through one corner so easily. So we watch Diablo as he's coming through, keeping it pretty. Oh, he got a bit of understeer as he turned in. So you see me on the little rear view camera. We'll skip back to me. We've got the run now on Diablo. Diving to the inside for the last corner. Can't quite get it done on the brakes, so I felt it would have been too risky. Diablo goes deep though, so I just get the line to be able to drive out. And Diablo just takes the slack up and follows in 2nd. So again, another good little lap from us. It was pretty exciting stuff as we see Diablo sat in the slipstream now looking to get back at me into T1. Dives down the inside, gets it done. Tiny bit of contact from us, but nothing major that upset our cars. And gets it done and back up into 1st. So this is pretty much how the whole race went between me and Diablo. It was good, close, clean stuff. I think that was the only bit of contact you just saw then between us. And that wasn't particularly heavy. Delhi just had the prime seats for watching the whole action up front. Anyway, we'll skip back and see what else is going on. I can watch my own replays at my own leisure. If there's not a lot of action though, we might just stick with it. So there's not a lot of close action going on. S2 Law down in 8th position now, so something's obviously gone wrong. I dare say the chicane of death's claimed another victim, and this time it was S2 Law. So he finds himself in 8th, as I've just said. Sixpenny Guitar up into 7th now. Ricky J in 6th, Mr. Dre in 5th, but all got a bit of a gap between them. Looks like Ricky J is catching Mr. Dre, so we'll keep an eye on that. But we'll jump back up to me and Diablo just because this is the bulk of the action for the time being. Diablo again trying to get the inside line into the last corner now. It was actually quite a good thing to be in 2nd place into this corner because you had the slipstream down the long straight. So both looking to dive into the pits. I was hoping to fool Diablo there and make him carry on, but that's why I pitted in such a weird angle. So Munguinho inherits first place as we all dive into the pits. Pretty much everyone's in the pits as you look. So Munguinho goes around for another lap. If we look at his fuel, it's pretty low. His tyre wear's not too bad though, so he's definitely got to pit at the end of the lap 6, which he's just gone on to. So Diablo comes back out in second. I'm right behind him as we come out of the pits. We both pretty much put up the same amount of fuel on, and off we went again. So I found myself coming out right behind him, touching bumpers more or less as we came out the pit exit. GT Deli in 4th still, so no one's really short fueled or anything to make too much time up in the pits. Looks like Sixpenny Guitar has made a bit of time up on Deli. Looks like he's quite a bit closer than he was before the pit stops. But S2 Law is now up into 6th as well, so that's good to see. He's having a bit of a mixed race, going a bit up and down so far, but started making the positions up again, back up into 6th now. Just saw in front there, bit of a dive on the inside on Diablo, so I retake first place again on this lap 6. And Diablo's chasing through the chicane of death this time. Have a bit of a moment, actually hit the wall there on the exit I did, so Diablo's now got the chance just to drive past. I'm thinking, no, but then you just get the slipstream all the way down this long straight, so it's not the end of the world as long as you don't lose too much time by hitting that wall. We'll see if I have a dive into T1 and then we'll jump up and see what else is going on again. About halfway through this race now. Munguinho just coming out of the pits, come out in 6th position. So I didn't really make it work into T1 this time round. Deli having a really good race. The gap's developed a little bit to Deli, and it's never quite closed it up, but it's not grown any bigger either. So just keeping that gap nicely managed towards guys in 1st and 2nd. S2 Law just keeps getting better for him after a bit of a bad moment here and there. He's back up into 4th now. I do apologise, S2 Law, I didn't realise you had such a good race, and I've missed all your overtakes, so no doubt you've probably been our prime overtaker, but I've missed them all. Sixpenny Guitar in 5th, doing a good job, as Munguinho's in 6th now after the pits. Ricky J was having a good fast race at one point. Looks like he's dropped back a little bit after the stop as well, so finds himself in 7th with no one to chase in front. Wimpy and Mr. Dre are having quite a good race this race by the look of it, so they've been battling away. If you look at the cars, they're a bit damaged on the front bumpers, and that tells you everything you need to know. It's been a bit of a scrappy one, but probably a fun one. Mr. Dre and Wimpy in the exact same car, no tuning or anything in this league, so all you can really change is traction control and your brake bias, and that's it. So Lega making a move for 9th place now as he gets pretty much side by side with Wimpy onto the beginning of lap 8. Don't quite make it work for Lega. Doesn't really push for it by the look of it, and he's happy just to sit in 10th for the time being behind Wimpy. So Wimpy's dropped off Mr. Dre's little competitor in this race, so he needs to get back up there and carry on that good racing he was having with him. Sixpenny Guitar is now finding himself getting chased down by Mr. Dre. Again, they're in the same car. So Sixpenny Guitar's doing a good job in this race, but seems to be struggling this lap for some reason, and probably on the fresh tyres. And Sixpenny Guitar is getting caught. Here we go, Mr. Dre looking for the inside, bit too far behind. just having a sniff and a bit of a look at the line. Diablo now in first place up front. Sixpenny Guitar doing a good job through there, and Mr. Dre following him. Oh, so Munguinho looks like he's caught back up after a bit of a mistake somewhere that dropped him quite a long way back. That tap on the wall in lap 3, I think it was, on the exit of the Chicane of Death, which dropped him back a little bit. So he's fighting away for 4th place now, looking to get back up to S2 Law's bumper and give him a challenge for 4th. Both in the GTR, so you know when people are in the same car in this race, it's exactly the same, it's just down to the driver basically. Oh, S2 Law's gone a little bit deep into there. So Munguinho's got a little bit of a run. It can be a little bit dodgy running side by side through here. S2 Law just managed to get the run back. Just managed to get that extra mile an hour or two going, and got the position back before the dodgiest of dodgy moments, running side by side, the Chicane of Death. It is possible to go through there side by side, but you end up going really slowly, giving each other a bit of room and respect. So S2 Law in 4th, doing a really good job on that lap to just keep it in front of Munguinho, and Munguinho trying to put the pressure on. GT Delhi still in 3rd, doing a good job, not really changed position from his little mistake from lap 1 really. So as we look between me and Diablo now, Diablo has pulled away a bit of a gap to me, and it's all kind of sorting itself out now as this race. If you look at the tyre wear, it's getting pretty severe. Diablo's isn't too bad. Mine's a lot worse than Diablo's at the moment. And Delhi's, if you look at Delhi's, isn't too bad either. So Munguinho, I've missed it again. I should have watched this replay through first. Didn't realise Munguinho and S2 Law had so many position changes between them. So S2 Law is now down in 5th position, and Munguinho's back up into 4th. Don't forget Munguinho actually started this race in 1st place. He's gone backwards a little bit. He's had a bit of a mixed race really, but he's doing his best towards the end to make his way back towards the top. But definitely has the pace, seeing as he out-qualified everyone. Just a quick little mention for everyone's livery. Good job from everyone putting a livery on it and making the cars look good. It always looks good on the replays when people go to the effort. So we've got Sixpenny Guitar and Mr. Dre pretty close together, both in the Porsche. You see Sixpenny Guitar there in the last corner, his wheels turned and there's just loads of understeer going on, so Mr. Dre catches up a little bit as they come out of the exit of that one. Head over the line to start lap 11. Oh, Mr. Dre just caught the grass a little bit too much, unsettled the car, and probably messed up his opportunity a little bit there into T1. He's got the undercut on the exit there, and Mr. Dre's got himself into 7th there by the look of it. A good move, nice move there from Mr. Dre, getting the undercut like that. Sixpenny Guitar probably doing his best to prevent it, but Mr. Dre doing a brilliant little move there. Always good to see a good clean undercut coming back out of the corner. Just taking alternative lines to achieve that. Mr. Legger in 9th. So he's made up a position from where he's been running most of the race. Wimpy, 82, now in 10th place. Probably had a few issues to put himself back there. He was having a good race with Mr. Dre at one point. Now Mr. Dre's found another guy to race with, Sixpenny Guitar. So it looks like Mr. Dre's had the pace in this race, so I'm expecting him to pull away from Sixpenny Guitar towards the end of this one. There's only there's only a couple more minutes left, so we're not quite on the last lap yet, but I think the next one might be. So we'll skip back up and see what's going on towards the top, see if I've closed the gap to Diablo at all. Looks like Munguinho's actually closing in on GT Deli. He's going to run out of time, I think, before the end, unless Deli has a massive mistake, but he's definitely closing in on him slowly but surely. No, Diablo's still got a nice gap there, doing a really good job, and after all that close racing between us, he just managed to break that slipstream eventually, and away you went really. But whilst we were keeping in each other's slipstream, we had a really, really good race. I could have just featured that the whole time, to be honest. It was really, really good fun. But at the same time, I want to be fair to everyone else and try and show some kind of perspective of the whole race and everyone's race. So S2 Law looks like his 5th position is pretty safe on the mini-map. No one right behind him, but he's dropped back a long way from Munguinho now. So I'm guessing again, but I think it's pretty safe to say that the majority of the problems come on this track from that chicane of death. Oh, see Ricky J just outbraking himself a little bit, hitting the barrier there on the entry, going a bit too deep. Oh, it is the finish of the race, so I'll come over the line with everyone that hasn't finished. So Diablo in 1st, 2nd ADG123, GT Deli in 3rd, Munguinho in 4th. Good racing from those guys. S2 Law in 5th. Oh, as we see him go a little bit wide for the last corner on the last lap. But S2 Law bringing it home in 5th in the end. I didn't realise that was the last lap, all a bit panicked. Ricky J 1800 in 6th. Sixpenny Guitar spins it a little bit too early before the line in 7th. I don't know what's happened to the race between him and Dre, but Dre's dropped right back into 10th now. That's distracted me. MRC Gr3 is in 8th. Good finish from him. So he ended up making 2 places up in the end. 9th is Wimpy 82, and Mr. Dre must have had a shocking last lap. Oh no, in fact he's run out of fuel. He's done the classic run out of fuel. Everyone does it at some point in the sim racing leagues. And Mr. Dre has chosen tonight to do it. Well, a Friday night. I commentate on this as it's live, but for those that are aware, it's not. This was held on Friday night. And there is a race too as we come towards the end. I'll watch Mr. Dre come over the line. So, without much further ado, that's the end. But like I've just said, there is a race too. It's a 40-minute race around Sardegna Road. Oh no, it isn't. It's, what's it called? Yeah, it's Sardegna. Sardegna, it's that one, which I will load up and do right now. So, thank you very much for watching. See you again soon, hopefully. See you again for the second one. And hope you enjoyed that. I enjoyed that. It was a good race. Take care, and yeah, see you again soon.